Samara Weaving is fantastic on screen. I think she really did great with like feminine rage when she got to the point where she was just over it and she was like, all right, you know what? Screw you all. If you want to do this to me, I'm going
Screw
to
it,
do
I'm
you
killing
too.
everyone.
Yeah, like I'm just over all of you.
I think that's the fun thing about horror too. Like, you say horror and it doesn't necessarily tell you what the film is. Like, there is such a wide spectrum of what
Hmm.
horror is.
Yeah.
You really have to watch a trailer to see if it's your kind of horror to understand if a movie is for you or not.
Yeah, it's a very broad spectrum, especially now with so many subgenres of horror. There's slasher films, and then there's your typical like jump scare movies and stuff, and there's your psychological ones and stuff. So it is a very broad spectrum of it.
Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. Joining me today as my games master, someone who hopefully won't make me draw the hide and seek card, Corrina Mabey.
That would be fun. Could you imagine if like we got together and I pulled this kind of shit on you? Like it'd be
No, thank you.
hilarious. It'd be so much fun. It'd be so much fun to live this out. It's like the Hunger Games, except more exciting and not as many people.
No. So if you can't tell, this week we are heading back to 2019 to revisit the horror comedy film Ready or Not. With the sequel on the way, now felt like the perfect time to refresh our memories and jump back into one of the more chaotic wedding nights in recent horror history. In this movie, marrying into the wrong family doesn't just mean awkward Christmas dinners. It means you have to survive wedding night in itself. Ready or Not is, like I said, a 2019 horror comedy directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. It follows Grace, a newlywed whose wedding night takes a very strange turn when her new in-laws insist she participates in their family tradition, drawing a card from a mysterious box that decides which game they'll play. Unfortunately for Grace, she pulls the hide and seek card, which is, from what we gather from the film, the only bad card that she could have got. And in this family, the game involves the entire household running around the house, which is an insane mansion, hunting her down in order to try to kill her before sunrise. The film stars Samara Weaving as Grace, Mark O'Brien as her groom Alex, Adam Brody as Alex's brother Daniel, Henry Cerny as Tony, Andy McDowell as Becky, the matriarch, and Melanie Scrofano as Emily, the haphazard, useless wife who just causes more chaos than she fixes. And there are two fun cameos that we'll mention later in our review, but before we dive into it, what did you think of Ready or Not, given this was your first time seeing the film?
I'm kind of disappointed that I slept on this movie for so long. I don't remember much about any of this movie coming out. I don't remember trailers for it. I didn't remember anything when I watched the trailer for the new one because you sent it to me. I was like, oh, that looks like really like a really fun movie. I was like, isn't that Margot Robbie? And you were like, nope, no, it's not. I was convinced it was Margot Robbie, and even when I was watching this movie, I was like, still convinced it was Margot Robbie's doppelganger. I also don't consider this to
You
be a
know a fun
horror
fact?
movie. I know who her uncle is.
No, another fun fact.
Oh no, I don't know another fun fact, but I know who her uncle is.
So they cast Samara Weaving as Grace
Mm-hmm.
because she looked so similar to Margot Robbie, because Margot was their first choice and they couldn't get Margot.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like classifying this as a horror movie is kind of a stretch, other than the underlying like lore behind why they have to play the game. This is more of like just like a fun like psycho psychological kind of
It's
movie
like a
for
slasher.
me. Yeah, it's not necessarily like a horror. Like I don't like horror for me is very different, but it was still really fun and I enjoyed it. And I just can't believe that I did not see it prior to this because I had a lot of fun watching.
Yeah, when you said I haven't seen this, I was like, what? This is like prime Corrina movie, like silly but like horror elements and then slasher gore stuff. And I was like, this is right up your alley. How have you not seen this? And
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's very fun. I think that's the fun thing about horror too. Like you say horror and it doesn't necessarily tell you what the film is. Like there is such a wide spectrum of what
Mm-hmm.
horror is.
Yeah.
You really have to watch a trailer to see if it's your kind of horror to understand if a movie is for you or not.
Yeah, it's a very broad spectrum, especially now with so many subgenres of horror. There's slasher films, and then there's your typical like jump scare movies and stuff, and there's your psychological ones and stuff. So it is a very broad spectrum of it. But the fact that Blumhouse was the production company for this, yeah, I could see it, I guess. I think it would make a really fun maze for horror nights after I've seen it now. I think it would be a really fun added thing to that.
Have they announced any of the stuff
No,
that's this year?
nothing
Hmm.
yet. It's
This
a
could be
possibility.
one since
They're
there is a new one out in a couple of weeks
Yeah, there's usually
or a week.
because Blumhouse and Universal I think have a contract, so there's generally like a Blumhouse themed house or scare zone every year for like the past couple of years. So it would be fun to see what or if they decide to do something with it, because I think it would be a really fun concept.
Yeah, I could see them doing something like this year, and maybe something for Lee Cronin's The Mummy as well this year
Yeah,
because it's a big Universal new movie,
yeah, that
and
would
it's a
be
Universal monster, so it'd be
yeah,
weird if they didn't do it.
yeah. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. You know me. I'm always ready for that season.
You watched Abigail,
I did.
correct?
I love Abigail. It's one of my favorite vampire movies of the newer years. Next to Sinners, like Sinners is my top vampire movie of like the 2020s, but Abigail was really fun.
This has similar vibes to that, like
Yes.
demonic, almost like vampire-y elements with the way that the family ultimately goes down at the end.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the ways they have to survive and be clever.
this is actually in the same universe, technically. The writers came out and did an interview and said, yeah, it is technically the same universe. None of the characters cross over or anything, but there is a painting in the background of one of this that's like of this movie, of one of the scenes here, that like the Abigail, her mother or something, is in one of those photos, like
Okay.
paintings in the background. So it's like, yeah, they're connected in a weird, loose way.
Interesting. I was waiting for you to say like it was the same house. I was like, oh, that would have been interesting if this had been like Abigail, the house that Abigail was in, because it's a massive house, just like in Abigail. But yeah, that's interesting to know that.
It's not the same house as Abigail, but it's the same mansion that was used for Billy Madison.
That's fun.
Hmm. You've never seen Billy Madison, have you?
If I say yes, would you believe me?
No.
Okay.
And I'm going to add it to a list.
God damn it. No, I've seen it. Definitely have. Isn't that the one where he goes back to school? Back to school? Yeah. See, I've seen it. I've seen it. It's Adam Sandler. I know what I'm talking about. I sent you a GIF earlier about that, actually. I know Billy Madison.
No. You know Billy Madison as much as I knew Donnie Darko.
I know enough.
No. We're going
Sure.
to watch that later at some point.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Continuing on, though.
What did you think of like the family? From the get-go, they seem off to me, and I enjoy that fact that it's like, I can't tell if it's just because they're like rich, pretentious, like we don't feel that she belongs because she's a poor
Yeah.
type thing,
Uh-huh.
or if there's something more sinister underneath with the family and how they got rich.
Oh, the family is completely nuts. Complete nuts. Um, Andy McDowell is in so many things, and she is always like a very laid back, like motherly, like tender kind of character every time she plays that. To see her like wielding a crossbow on occasion and like a shotgun and stuff, so completely out of the normal for her stuff. Like she's a Hallmark movie kind of lady, and this is not
You're not in this.
not that at all. Yeah, the family's a complete wackadoo. I think the brother, like the older brother, I like him a lot better than his younger brother, the groom, because that guy's a jackass. And then the sister is just she's probably the way I would be in this situation if I knew that my family did this kind of stuff. That would probably be me, except I would not be snorting substances to get through through my day. But I wouldn't need to because I am just that clumsy. So
Yeah, she's great comedy for this movie where she's just like
100%.
shooting people in the face, like she blows the nanny's face off
Yeah.
early on. You're like, holy cow, okay. That's when like the flip switches and you go, okay, it's gonna be like
Chaotic.
very dangerous in order to get through this film. It's not gonna be, you realize it's much more sinister than it initially sets up with. Oh, we're just gonna play a game of hide and seek.
Yeah, it's very chaotic. And the poor Grace in this entire movie, she just thinks that she's marrying into some witch weirdos who don't like approve of her status like in the world. But really it's that she's just that unlucky. I would have loved to have seen them like try and pick another card or something to see what would have happened, like if it would have let them pick another card or if something more sinister would have happened because they just didn't like it. But yeah, I think it's a fun concept. I think that this whole like family and the lore of the family having to continue tradition, and they're real sticklers about it, especially the aunt, who's like completely psycho. Like she is the ringleader of psycho. um, yeah, so it was kind of like a fresh and original idea, but in a way that they took ideas from other things and put it together, and it worked really well.
And what did you think of the, what's the family's name? The Domas Games Empire.
It's like the Hasbro or whatever, you know? Like
Well, they are actually based on the Hasbro and Parker Brothers
Brother Brothers, that's
families.
the other one I can think of. Yeah. It's hilarious. I expected this when it first initially started, like after the ceremony and they go into the seance room is what I'm just gonna call it, even though I guess it's called the game room or something. I thought instead of them drawing a card, I thought it was going to be a board game originally because I was like, this is giving Jumanji vibes. Which again, this is like a grown-up version of Jumanji. Um, kind of.
Yeah, it's Twisted Jumanji.
Yeah. So I really thought I was going to go down that pathway, but when it was just a box with a card in it, I was almost disappointed until I saw like all of the facial reactions from the family members, and I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of random weapons on the wall." And they're showing
Mm-hmm.
them. There's a reason for that.
And I love in the background of that scene, like you see all of the games from the Ladomas family as well.
Yeah.
I was reading they had to submit a ton of ideas for like names and things for board games that they could put in the background because obviously
Copyright.
Hasbro, Parker Brothers are like, you're not using our stuff.
Yeah, no, we have family
And
friendly games. We can't have that in this kind of movie.
yeah, they submitted like hundreds of ideas apparently and got back like half a dozen that they're like, legal, we'll let you use these ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is rough. Like that would have been a tough thing to do. Like come up with these broad concepts of games and
Yeah.
names for them that, because there are that many board games that like you probably don't even know that you would submit and they'd be like, oh no, there's a game that does that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things like you would never really suspect, but you think back in like all the kids games that are out there that everybody kind of forgets about too, like just in general. So smart. It's a fun concept though. I really enjoy how they really like take so much pride in their tradition, I guess, of doing everything as a family and like planning everything out. And for a while there, I was like, oh, I don't know if this girl is gonna win, like get through this initiation or not. And then everything just kind of went to crap. And I give her a lot of credit for doing this in like a really cool Victorian style wedding dress until she like rips it up and becomes like, Billy Badass.
fun fact about that dress too, the costume designer Avery Plews had to create 17 different versions of the wedding dress to show the transformation throughout the film of like,
Clean
okay,
cut.
it's getting dirty, it's getting bloody, it's getting this part's ripped off, this bit's ripped off.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, really cool that they went that step of like,
Hmm.
make all of these different versions, which would have been pretty chaotic.
Yeah, because at one point, I mean, she uses parts of it to like wrap up her hand that has a hole in it thanks to some little 4 foot nothing shithead. I don't care. I'm gonna call him that. He's a little shit.
What did you think of the? Like we said, it's horror, but it's also comedy. What did you think of that blending of genres?
It was fantastic. I always appreciate when they can incorporate horror or comedy into horror without it being ridiculous. I feel like a lot of movies have always been really great at including like one liners or some character that's always there to kind of like lighten the mood. But you do have certain films that kind of take it to the extreme where there's just too much and it's not a horror movie or like anymore. It's just straight up like comedy at that point, and they're doing it for that. But I think they were smart to just like stick to kind of like one character that's comedic relief and then also have, one line kind of responses from certain characters to her. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and
Yeah,
I
the
think it was a great
comedy,
mix.
the comedy all comes from the Emily character,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Just
the people around her that respond to her
yeah,
chaos.
yeah, and they did that kind of in Abigail as well. With I think one or maybe two characters in Abigail, but yeah, they always seem to have like a Blumhouse for some reason always seems to find movies to back that have a great mix of that without going overboard, I think. So yeah, I appreciate her. The fact that she has a great shot without trying is even better. Like she's great with a crossbow without even trying to. And the fact that she breaks down every time it happens and she's like, why is this just happening to me only? Like, I feel you, girl. I feel that.
Yeah, I wrote down some of the memorable moments that like really stick out when you look back at it, and it's Emily shooting the maid in the face with the crossbow, like just dong, perfect shot right between the eyes and takes her out.
Yep.
And then Grace kills the other maid in the dumb way to accidentally by like
She deserves
setting
it.
it off, and she's like half in and out. She's like,
Yep, that maid deserved it. I didn't even care. I was so glad that she was gone. I was like, that's what you get, lady. Like, you have nothing to gain from that. You're not gonna be part of this anyway. Like, who cares if you let her live? Anyway,
and like even like the guy that like helps hunt Grace
the
down,
butler.
like she takes him out in the car, like, yeah, screw you, dude. You're just the help. You're
Yeah,
not
none
gonna
of you
blow
are
up
affected
and
by
catch on
this.
fire at the end.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to be affected is if you have a job or not. Like, I would be looking to help this lady because she's technically the new wife. So she's going to be, if everything fails, like she'll be the lone survivor and she'll get all the money. Like, that would have been the smart way of thinking.
Attention, trading card collectors! Are you ready to take your collection to the next level? Dive into the action with the limited edition Australian wrestling card, showcasing the most electrifying talents Australia has to offer. Imagine owning cards featuring legends such as Robbie Eagles, Shazza McKenzie, Shane Hayes, Madison Eagles, and many, many more. But that's not all. You'll also snag cards of the iconic referees, commentators, and announcers, just like me, Lord Andy Coyne, to truly capture the spirit of Australian independent wrestling. And as our homegrown talent continues to dominate the world stage, OzRest cards are destined to become hot commodities. Not only will you be owning a valuable piece of wrestling history, but you'll also be supporting the amazing wrestlers and talented photographers behind the magic. So don't wait! Grab your Australian wrestling cards now at pariomagazine.com.au/OzRes cards. Order today and kickstart your collection with a bang!
And then, yeah, just like the multiple moments where the family just like screw up the hunt, where it's just like, oh, she's in here. Oh, she got away.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I killed this person accidentally. Oh, everything's going bad. That's
Oh, no,
fun.
we've
And
lost
then
her.
my favorite one is Grace's expletive-filled meltdown when she steals the car and it then gets shut off by the security system, and
Yeah.
the guy on the other end is not helpful at all. He's a terrible customer service agent.
Fucking Justin. Like, couldn't have helped her.
Fun fact about Justin,
Oh, boy.
that's actually the writer Matt Bettinelli-Olpin doing
Oh.
the voice.
That's exciting for him. Still a crap character. I hope he had a terrible day.
And then two of the other creators for the film, Guy Busick and Christopher Murphy, they are the crossbow experts in the YouTube video that they're watching to learn how to use the YouTube.
Oh
use
yeah, when
the
the guy is
crossbow.
literally in the bathroom and he's like, "I'll be right back," and he's like watching YouTube videos on how to use a crossbow. It's fantastic.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
that
so
is
that's the writers, and then the director Matt is the sports car customer service agent.
that's really funny. And that is such a relatable, I think, scene for people nowadays because when you can't figure something out, literally everybody just like YouTubes it. And they're like, how to do this, how to do that. Like I I installed shower heads this weekend and I legit almost had to do that, but then it was easy install and I didn't need tools, so I felt accomplished.
You mentioned you weren't a big fan of the groom Alex.
I was
He does
not.
have like he does have a strange arc where he starts off and you think he's this sweet, nice guy, and then he fully commits into we've got to go through this ritual thing.
Yes.
But then at the end, he realizes, well, either way, even if we get through this, she's not going to want to be with me. So she's going to leave me anyway. And then he's just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just commit to the ritual and kill her instead.
Yep.
It's like, whoa, bro.
Yeah, he's a bit of an ass. He likes to play both sides because he's one of those. I think I hated him the most because he's just such an
He can't commit. He's like,
yeah, he's an untrustworthy
he
groom.
wants to get married, but then he's like, oh, we'll reluctantly go through this ritual thing.
Yeah, I don't.
Knowing full well, because like it shows at the start, 30 years prior, he was the kid that saw this actual game go down.
Yeah,
So he knows there's this potential for this really bad outcome in this ritual.
yep. I cannot
And
stand
he's
him
like,
for that.
oh, we'll just play the odds, it'll be fine. It's highly unlikely we'll get that one bad outcome.
Yeah, and he
And
had.
then when he does, he's kind of reluctant for it. But then when he realizes she's going to hate me anyway, he's like, well, screw it, we'll just go through it.
Yeah, he had all that time to tell her like legitimately what was going on. So I didn't trust him at that point when he was just like, "You sure you want to go through this? Like you can run now. Like you're telling her something's up without telling her something's up, so stop it." And then
Yeah,
when
just tell her that there is this potentially really dangerous outcome.
yeah, so then when shit hits the fan, you're just like, "All right, well yeah, I want money and I want my family to survive." And then when you realize everything's going to hell, you're like, "Oh, never mind, honey. I'm so sorry. You are so right. I'm not like them." Bitch, you are worse. You're probably like the worst one, honestly, because you brought me here under false pretenses at this point.
Yeah, like let me know that this was a potential thing that we could be going through.
Right. Yeah, yeah, he irks me. I don't like him. He's my least favorite character. And that's saying something because the aunt is a big pain in the butt, too.
What did you think of the Grace character by Samara Weaving?
I love her. She's fantastic. She's
I think she's really cool, and
she's like
it's exciting to see her getting a sequel coming out of this as well.
Absolutely. You know, this would have now that I am like so big into reading again and it's been part of my life, this would have been such a fun book to read. I feel like she would have been such a fun FMC to read as well. Like she's such a great character on screen. So I feel like if I were reading about her and like they went even more into depth about like her trying to like survive in the house and stuff like that, I think it would have been really fun to read. I think she's a badass. God, the part in the barn where she like falls into like the like scrap pit is what I call it with all the animal scraps in it. Ugh, that was gross. That was so gnarly, and the fact that she had a like gushing open wound in her hand because of that made it even more gnarly to look at. But yeah, she's like the top survivor, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate like final girl trope.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's that was very much. It reminded me of the Run Sweetheart Run. I think that's what it's called. Where like all the groomsmen are like after her and they have to like try and kill her. So yeah, it was very similar to that. Yeah, I liked it. I like Samara Weaving is fantastic on screen. I think she really did great with like feminine rage when she got to the point where she was just over it and she was like, all right, you know what? Screw you all. If you want to do this to me, I'm going to do you
killing
too.
everyone.
Yeah, like I'm just over all of you.
Although she doesn't go to full homicidal mode immediately. Like she
No.
tries to escape first. She's like, I'll just get out of here.
Yeah, when she finally just like gives into it eventually, like when she's exerted all of her energy, like you see her like running through and like getting to the gate and even like pushing to get through that gate. Like that was painful to watch, like when she's getting like stabbed in the gate and stuff like that. That's dedication to show that she really just didn't want to be bothered with any of it. She just wanted a clean cut essentially from the whole scenario. And yeah, then she just kind of had to go for it at that point.
Yeah, it's the moment when the butler picks her back up and like
Hmm.
drives her back, and she takes him out. And the moment she takes him out, you're like, yep, she's going full scorched earth. Everyone's going down now.
Oh yeah. I also love the fact that like the family watches the butler get murdered like as it's happening because they're FaceTiming him.
Bro, turn around.
Turn around. Um there's like been a couple
Damn
movies.
music off.
There's been a couple movies that have done that before where they're just like, oh no, we see what's happening, turn around. So yeah, that was really that was one of the highlight kills for me, I guess, which is odd to say, but yeah. I enjoyed that death probably because he was such a jerk for no reason.
I love that moment too when she does escape, and then she's like trying to flag the car down,
Yeah.
and they just zoom past her. And he's like, "The hell."
Seriously? Like, but that is such a now times kind of thing. Like, people don't stop for anybody now. If you see somebody on the side of the road waving their arms around, like in the middle of the night,
Especially a woman in a bloody wedding dress, I'm like, I'm not picking you up.
no, sorry, like wait for the next car. I'm sure there's one coming.
Yeah, sorry, not my problem.
Yeah, I don't want any of that.
And then ultimately we get to the end. Grace makes it to sunrise, and spoilers for people that haven't seen this 6-year-old movie now.
Shut up.
The whole family just starts exploding.
It's
when the
fantastic.
sun hits them, like very vampire-y. What did you think of that moment?
It reminds me a lot of The Beauty because I started to watch The Beauty and everybody spontaneously combusts. So it was exactly like that, because splat. I love that it gets like a little bit like a few minutes past sunrise and they all think that they're okay and like they're in the clear and it was just a hoax. That's when I think it was the best, is right during that moment. And then they just start blowing up one by one and it's fantastic. I think the only one I probably feel sorry for in this whole scenario is the older brother, because I genuinely think that like, and he didn't even blow up, he just got killed by his own freaking wife. But I feel like he's probably the only one in that actual family that had any decency
Some
and like
conscience.
morals or something, because he saw what happened. And so I think, yeah, I think he's probably the best one, and unfortunately he met his demise too.
Yeah, I love the fact that it doesn't just immediately, as soon as the sun hits them, they all spontaneously combust or
No.
burst into flames like a vampire. It's like, it makes it more shocking and surprising, but it's also really satisfying that they all go down in that way of like, they all thought they got
Yeah.
off, and it wasn't real, but it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
The LaBelle, Mr. LaBelle thing, what do you think of that? Is it like a deal with the devil type thing, or is it like vampire-y or stuff like that?
I think it was.
See them explore it more in the sequel.
So I think it's probably like a secret society, occult thing, probably. That's probably the only thing I didn't actually like about this movie, and maybe it's just because of the time that it was made. I really disliked when they showed like his like shadowy like spirit, I guess, in the house towards the end.
Sitting in the chair.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary for me to see it. I feel like if they had just done like a big gust of like wind or like the fire like just kind of blowing out into the room, it probably would have been satisfying enough for me. That was a bit much. Like the CG wasn't really great in it. I will say though, my favorite my favorite thing about that is when the crazy sister runs out of the room with her 2 kids and they all 3 explode in the hallway, because it just shows like the entire bloodline has literally, it doesn't matter like how young you are, the entire bloodline is done for.
And like you said, ultimately Grace is the only one left now.
Yeah,
And
Grace inherits
the
the
wedding was
entire
done.
thing. So you're yeah, she had her cake and ate it too, literally, because like she just got off, she survived all of that, and she still ends up on with the upper hand at the end of the movie, at least, until we see the sequel, and maybe that's not so much a thing.
But then it's also weird because like the others that were married into the family, they all pop and explode. But Grace didn't.
Because she wasn't greedy, maybe?
She won the game.
And won the game? Yeah, that's probably what it was, because if she had just played like a regular game of like chess or whatever and she won, then she would have been into the lifestyle and into the money, and it probably would have gone
Even
to
if
her
she'd
head.
lost, she would have been in the family. But I think because she won the game, she wasn't technically in the family, so that's why she survived, maybe.
Yeah, or like and like the the whole like family dynamic and the legacy of it didn't go to her head. Like she even said, I'm not marrying you for your money. Like I don't care about your family's money and stuff like that. So maybe that's another thing of it, because if you notice the older brother's wife, she's like, you know, the kind of life I came from. Like I'm not giving that. I'm not giving this up. Like that kind of stuff. So everybody else is all about money, where in power, where she's just like, I don't really care. Like I like you. Like we can
it's
just
like
leave.
her soul. LaBelle couldn't take her soul because she couldn't be corrupted in that way.
Yeah, because like she was just like, we can just leave right now. We can go get out of here. We don't have to have this big wedding. Like if you don't want it, it's cool. So yeah, and I enjoyed how it ended. I like that fact that she just like walks out and sits on the steps, and the fire department comes up and they're just like, you good?
Waits for emergency to get there.
Yeah, I'm good.
So ultimately 14 people die in this movie, which is pretty high body count.
That is a pretty big kill count.
The other thing I wanted to mention was, what did you think of the goat?
Oh, the random little billy goat that's in the barn that's just chilling away.
That, like, yeah, is part of the reason she falls into the pit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with the goat. Is there a significance with this goat other than the fact that like the goat head is like satanic or is usually affiliated with Satanism?
The thing I wanted to mention was it was initially going to be a CGI goat.
Oh, they used a real one?
And they filmed it, did the CGI. I'm like, oh, that looks terrible. So then they decided to get a real goat. I'm like, oh, just use a real goat. That'll work better.
Fine.
It's only on for a couple of seconds. It just got to charge at someone.
It's not like he's going to get killed or anything like that, so PETA wouldn't have a problem with it.
And then, so this film was made with a budget of $6 million.
Okay.
Which is pretty
average.
Low for 2019.
Yeah, that is true, I guess.
Made $57.6 million.
That's pretty good.
Which explains why 6 years later we are getting a sequel.
Yeah.
You mentioned watching the trailer. How are you feeling leading into the sequel now that you've seen the first one?
There's a hobbit and there's a vampire slayer in this next one. So sign me up. I'm good. I was sold on the cast. Like I don't care if it's bad or good when you have Buffy and you have Frodo in the same movie together. All is forgiven, even if you're a complete crap movie. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think it looks really fun. And
yes.
It's like, it plays on the thing that you mentioned, the sort of secret society of like, all of these people have made this similar deal with LaBelle.
Mm-hmm.
And like, now that that family's gone, they need to stop this thing in its tracks before it starts coming after them. So now it's like,
yeah,
everyone's hunting down Grace and her sister, and it's like, okay, this is going to be pretty crazy now.
Yeah, it also makes me wonder if it's just if LaBelle is like strictly if it is actually like him and his like he's getting all these other people, or if it's like he was part of the secret society, he was just a member, like his family was one of the many families. And it makes me wonder if these people are successful for other businesses, like if there's like a weapons manufacturer, or if there's like a doctor line of some sort, like a medical pharmaceutical kind of thing, versus just strictly like we produce games. So, or in like, you know, any kind of materialistic kind of thing.
I think it's going to be a whole heap of like different families, different industries, and it's less like LaBelle sending them after Grace.
Yeah.
And more them just going, she knows.
Mm-hmm. We have to eliminate her.
That secret out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Kind of like Illuminati type thing where they're like, oh no, the world cannot know about this.
I also want to know, like, the trailer makes it seem like everybody has a family that they represent except Elijah Wood. He's like the host. I feel like he's the dungeon master. And I feel like I need to know more about his character in the second film too. Like, I hope that they do like a dive onto like his background as to how he got appointed the person that like literally assigns people to go and try and chase Grace and her sister. So yeah, I don't know. There's like a couple different ideas that I have rolling in my head just from seeing the trailer as to what it could actually ultimately end up being. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, very excited for it. In terms of a rating, what would you give Ready or Not?
It's probably like a solid like 3.5 for me. Like it's nothing like monumental by any means. But it's definitely fun, and like I'd probably rewatch it again. Like it's one of those movies I'd probably go back to, kind of like the way that I do Scream. It's nothing serious or anything like that, but it's not something I would turn off.
Yep. Yeah, I'd give this a a solid 4. Like, it's a really fun movie, and it's like, if you like that weird mix of horror, comedy, like you said, like the screams and those sort of slashery horrors, it's very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will be back later in the week with a written review of Ready or Not 2. But otherwise, thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and YouTube. You can follow Corrina on Instagram at Miss Corrina Renee. And where else?
And at living_dead_books. There's a couple written reviews that are coming up, I think. I'm finishing up a book. I have one that I have to write up. And then I got 2 more new books the other day at the used bookstore. So I was so excited. My physical book collection is growing. And, so is my regular TBR list and digital book collection. You love it.
And otherwise, you can follow me on social media at JamYapsMedia and at Pario Magazine. Catch you all next week.